Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are on the free-to-play account and I want to talk to you a bit about the tag team arena, aka the 3 versus 3 arena. So this is one of those contents in the game that almost nobody likes, nobody wants to do it, but it's kind of mandatory in order to, first of all, get yourself some juicy, nice, free, let's say, rewards. And at the same time, you kind of want to do this because of the Romanto mission. So that's one of the first place where you're actually required in order to progress in the game is the Romanto mission. So after you get past the Arbiter missions, as you see, I already got Arbiter over here. If we scroll a little bit, we should get to a point where it says like this one, reach Bronze 3 in Tag Team Arena, okay? So I'm obviously already there, but this one goes up to the point where it requires you to get to Gold 1 in Tag Team Arena, and that's not something really easy to do. I'm not going to lie, it's something that requires lots of time, requires some champions, requires gear, and honestly at the end of the day requires a little bit of knowledge of how you can actually achieve this. So the reason why I wanted to do this on the free-to-play account is because recently I got myself to Silver 1 in 3v3. I did not manage to stay there this week because I was not paying attention, I did not have enough time, but I did manage to get there, and proof of that is one, my previous video, two, the fact that I actually got myself a Void Shard. So this is where the rewards come into play, and one of the first reasons why I want to do Tag Team Arena is because first of all, you can get yourself weekly some energy and an ancient shard, which is not too bad. Silver, brew, rare tome, chicken, type charm, avatar, and substat charm are one of those things that I'm never buying. I don't think they're worth it, so I suggest, advise against buying those. But the point where the rewards come to be a little bit better and worth your time are once you get into silver. You want to get these accessories that are refresh accessories and cleansing accessories. I guess cleansing ones are mostly arena focused, but the refresh one can be extremely good for PvE. It helps you in Hydra, it helps you in Fire Knight, it helps you in Dragon. So these refresh accessories basically have a chance to straight up reset the cooldown of a skill. So as an example, let's say using Fire Knight a Cold Heart and she uses her Heart Seeker. This one gives you a chance to straight up reset a Heart Seeker so she can do it again, okay? So that's really important. Sorry guys, I have something in my neck. The next thing is the Void Shard. Well, everybody knows how hard it is to get Void Shards, and you definitely want to get yourself those Void Shards as often as possible. This one resets once every 2 weeks, so if you have enough, you can buy 2 a month. And the higher you get into the tiers, obviously, the more gold bars you get per fight. So once you get to silver, that's 25. Then if we go and move higher up, we have in gold the same thing. Accessory charm, the accessories, sorry, that are the same things are really good. Sacred shards, which again, you would love to get those. Maybe even legendary skill tome, but these cost a lot, so you have to do at least 10 fights, if not more a day. And then the rarity and rank charms are really good. Rank 5 chicken, I'm not really sure you should buy, but it all depends on what you need on your account. So Tag Team Arena is definitely one of those things that even though you don't like it, you hate it, you should do it daily. And one thing I do suggest for most people is if you want to get as many gold bars as possible, and if you have the opportunity, the higher you are, the easier it is to do, just buy yourself one of these Tag Team refills every day for 15 gems, because I think after you get past silver, like from silver up, it's worth it because the more gold bars you get, like I said, the more rewards you can get, and it makes it be really worth it. And the beautiful thing about this one is the fact that the higher you get, even in bronze 1, like the lowest, you're going to be fighting this most of the time, okay? You're going to refresh and you're going to see one-man defenses, okay? So you're just going to go into those fights. You're going to do them with the best champions you have, the best teams that you have, and you're going to get yourself some free rewards. Just have to be there, I don't know, maybe once every hour or every 2 hours, just to refresh, to get yourself those pages of one-man defenses, farm those, and then you're going to get yourself those easy gold bars. And honestly, the best thing about the thing that you need to know about this is you have to do the same thing. So in order for you to be able to farm this, you want to have one-man defenses yourself. As soon as I finish these fights, I'm going to show you that I actually have the same thing. So I don't have actual defenses, like I don't have my full teams, especially now early on in the week because it's Monday. You want to be able to drop down so you see as many one-man defenses yourself as possible. So look at this, I have one-man defenses, Apothecary, Deacon, and Reservoir, just some random people. Okay, so this is about how to farm and why I should farm. And now let's talk about how do you progress, because this is kind of the main, this is what I want to be the main topic of this video. I'm gonna try and keep it as short as possible. So there's quite a few tips. I'm not sure if I'm gonna name them like 3 tips or whatever, but there's some easy tips of how you can do this. Number one, and I believe that's the easiest way for you to advance in Tag Team Arena, if maybe you're stuck on that silver 4, you need to get yourself to gold 1. The best time to do that is when there is a CVC going on. So every other week we know there's a clan versus clan tournament going on, and most people are farming a lot of 3v3 arena because that gives you a ton of points. Again, another reason why you should be higher in CVC, because the higher you are, the more points you get. But during that time on Tuesday and Wednesdays, everybody's gonna drop their defenses, everybody's gonna have one-man defenses because they want to continue to keep farming that. So what you have to do is, on a Tuesday, let's say you have your one-man defense, but maybe on Wednesday, if not even on Tuesday, put your defense back in, your actual defense, your strong defenses, and then just keep farming, because you're gonna keep seeing one-man defenses even once you get into, like, you know, the green side of this. Even when you get into green to advance, you might still see one-man defenses. So that's the best way to do it. Do that, advance as high as you can, and then try to do your fights daily, or as many as you can, to keep pushing up and not to fail. Now, the Tag Team Arena has some keys to it that makes it easier, and that's usually your defense. The defense in Tag Team Arena, kind of like the same as it is in Platinum Arena. The most important ones are the defense. Doesn't matter how many fights you win on the offense if you lose everything on the defense, okay? So if you keep losing on defense more than you can catch up on the offense, then that's not good enough. So the key to advancing there is a strong defense. I'm gonna show you like an example of teams that I'm using on my free-to-play. Actually, I can show you my offense ones, because those are the teams that I'm using for the defense as well. So let's say, okay, I cannot show you, I cannot go into those ones, but there's 3 teams that I have, okay? So I have 2 speed teams, okay? So 2 speed teams, and then one that's, honestly, that's a build in progress. And that's what is gonna happen most of the time. You're not gonna be able to have perfect 3 teams of Tag Team Arena in order to use for offense or for defense, but you really want to get some good defenses in there so you can win, because the way that this one goes, it's like this. Let's say somebody attacks you, you lose 3 fights. Let's say you lose 10 points per fight, that's 30 points. If you start winning at least one of those defenses, you only lose 10 fights, because you get plus 10 for the win and then minus 20 for the 2 losses. And then instead of losing 30 for 3 teams, you only lose 10. So the key is to try and get your best, first your best team, then your second best team. Even if your third one's gonna be crap, it does not matter. Try to get at least 2 solid teams, because if you win those 2 defenses and lose your third one, you're gonna gain points. Even though somebody attacks you and you lose 1, you're still going to gain points. And as an example, the teams that I'm using myself are 2 speed teams. As you can see here, I have a team with Lissandra, Deacon, Ursula, which is kind of, this is something I added recently because I just 6-starred her. I don't have masteries, but she's my increased defense in there, and then she's also my reviver. I can use her as a reviver in there. So turn meter, decreased defense, increased attack, and nuker. And obviously, Lissandra's my fastest. She's not crazy fast because I broke her build for my clan boss team. But normally, if you don't care about your clan boss team, you'd have your fastest gear on your arbiter. Okay, so the first one would be your arbiter, fastest gear. For me, I'm using my arbiter as an example for PV in a regen set. But the way that I combined my second team, which is the arbiter one, and maybe this one's actually my main team, is by having my fastest gear, or like my second fastest on Apothecary, because Apothecary is in my clan boss team. The budget Demetha comp that I'm running has 2 people at over 300 speed. Demetha 310 and then Apothecary 309. So because I cannot get Arbiter faster, well, or Lissandra faster than Apothecary, I paired it up, Arbiter, with Apothecary, as you can see. So Apothecary goes first, then next one goes Arbiter, and then it's gonna be my decreased defense, which is Tombler, he just places it, and then is my nuker. Again, second team are basically 2 basic speed teams. The third one usually would be a, let's say, Ghost second team. Usually that has something like a Seeker in the lead, or a Kyoku that has some sort of a quirky passive that when they are hit, they put increased defense and heal everybody behind. You would have maybe somebody like a Vogoth at the end that heals everybody after he gets hit. You want him to have at the end because you want your people to get damage first, so he has what to heal. Another good option towards the back is somebody like a Sandler Survivor. When she's hit, when your allies are hit, if somebody drops under 50%, she puts an ally protection. So that's kind of like the principle of having a go second team. And usually for a go second team, you want to have your nukers to be defense or HP based. So in my case, I have a Miscreant Monster, I have Artak, and I just put Reservoir because he's one of my best builds. But one other thing that's extremely important to keep in mind about this one is specifically for the speed teams, okay? If you're gonna have speed teams, okay, like I have Lysandra one with Deacon, Apothecary with Arbiter, you need to make sure they're speed tuned, okay? Because if they are not speed tuned, you're kind of defeating the purpose of having a speed team. So let me show you where you can do that. If you go on deadwoodjedi.com, okay? So we go over here, we go to the calculators, and then you click on the arena calculator, okay? This is really important, and the same thing is going to work for your arena. One second, let me just log in, and then I can show you what exactly I mean. But what it means to be speed tuned, it means that if you go first, let's say in the team with Apothecary, let's say my Apothecary goes first, okay? So if you go first, that means that every single one of your champions is going to get a turn before the enemy gets a turn. So as an example, let's have a look over here. So let's say my lead is Arbiter in that team. I have a Apothecary going first, okay? You can type in whatever champion. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger, okay? And let's say the Apothecary is going at 309, okay? And he's gonna be in, I think he has 2 speed sets, I'm not sure, let me see, but this one helps. Like that little bit of a slight difference can mean the difference between if your team being speed tuned or not. So I have 1 speed set and 1 perception. So let me click over here and say 1 speed, 1 perception. Laura Steele, yes. Champion roll, turn meter boost, skill that he's gonna use the A3. Okay, so this page from Deadwood Jedi gives you absolutely everything, makes it so easy to speed tune. Then the next one's going to be my Arbiter, okay? So my Arbiters, again, same thing, turn meter boost, she's gonna use the A3, but it kind of shows me over here what speed my Arbiter needs to be speed tuned into Apothecary. So Apothecary goes first, he increases our speed, he boosts our turn meter, then the next one that would go would be Arbiter, and I need to have my Arbiter 257.29. So let's say I will build my Arbiter at 258, but keep in mind, you have to also put in there what's going to be the next champion. Like you have to put all 4 champions because it could change, you know? So if we go in there, let me put myself my Tomb Lord, and then let me put the Supreme Elhain. Let me see, Supreme Elhain, okay? So it kind of shows me like this. If everything goes as planned, he's going to be what? Debuffer, he uses the Blight, she's going to be a damage dealer, she uses the A2, okay? So after we put everything in there, that Apothecary does the increased speed and the turn meter boost, then Arbiter comes with the turn meter boost and increased attack, it shows me that I have to have my Tomb Lord be at 204.15, which let's say it's 205 speed, in order to not be cut in order to for the enemy team not to jump in and, you know, basically cut in, and if they start boosting and they're perfectly speed tuned, you might lose the fight. So as long as I have my Arbiter at 258, my Tomb Lord at 205, and then let's say my Supreme Elhain at 204, just to be, you know, 1 speed slower, or let's say maybe my Tomb Lord is 208. I need to have my Supreme Elhain go after Tomb Lord, so 209, but not slower than 203.25, so not slower than 204. So this is the best way you're going to be able to speed tune your teams properly, and like I said, these mean a lot. If you don't have these things put in there, you might have a speed team that's not actually a speed team, because if you're cut in, you're gonna lose. I have plenty of fights on the free-to-play account where I'm fighting people where they have their Arbiter like 300 plus speed, but the next one's not speed tuned into her. I cut in and basically I win the fight. So this is something that's really important, and this tool can be really helpful for you to use. So like I said, go on deadwoodjedi.com, go over here to calculators, click the arena calculator, put the speeds, put the champions that you use, and voila, this is gonna help you a ton. And then let's see what else. Yeah, so it's kind of the same principle for my second team. Again, my teams are not going to be perfect because my priority on my account right now is not arena, is not tag team arena. However, just by having a little bit of tweaks and combining the right champions together, I can actually do some fights in there and I can win actual fights. I'm not going to start searching now for actual fights. If that's something that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments below and I can record me pushing some 3v3 on the free-to-play and I can do that as a video to show you what teams I fight, what I don't, and so on and so forth. But one other thing that's extremely important that you need to keep in mind is choosing your fights as well, okay? So the defense is the most important one, but offense can be really, really important. So let's say you go into the offense and you go through the teams and you're trying to see who am I going to attack. You kind of need to know what the champions do, okay? You need to know that somebody like a Helicat puts block damage, somebody like a Uko does decrease attack AoEs. You need to know that this one, as an example, is a speed team. So if you're not confident enough, as an example, that your team is fast enough, do not take your speed team against their speed team, okay? If there's 3 speed teams, I would suggest always against their fastest or whichever you think is their fastest team, you take your go second team. That's go second teams, like I mentioned, they're usually teams that should be able to take a hit, to survive, and then start going, because as soon as you start going with your go second, the speed teams are usually really squishy. So it's the same principle for my team. If I don't kill them, or if I don't kill most of them after I get my turn and they get to go, I just might be killed. I get one shot and that's it, because most of those champions are gonna be squishy. Since you're building your speed people to be really fast, you're not building survivability in them. Since you're building your nukers to do lots of damage again, you're not building survivability into them, unless you have those teams that are using defensive nukers. There are defensive options where you can do this. So let's say an example, you have a, I don't know, Gambo in the lead that has a speed lead for arena. And, or maybe not, Gambo's not the best thing. Let's say you have a Haikatun, okay? Let's say you're not quite there with Arbiter. You have your Haikatun as the lead, okay? Haikatun's the one that's a 19 speed. She's the one that would be your fastest, boosts speed and increases the turn meter. But then you want to have, like, you have a defensive nuker. You could even use a V6, a Drexar, maybe you have somebody like a Solus, a Ragash. There's plenty of defensive nukers. Well, you have other options that you can bring alongside your speed booster, which is the Haikatun, that will boost your turn meter and boost your defense, which is the damage multiplier for defensive nukers. Because as you saw in my teams, for my speed teams, I have increased attack in one team from Arbiter, and then in the other team, I have increased attack from Ursala. That's going to boost my damage for my Tranda and for my Supreme Hain. But some simple options are somebody like a which I don't have, Doomscreech, okay? Doomscreech boosts the turn meter by 30%, which is, I think, is the biggest in the game for a defensive buffer, and then puts increased defense on. Another OP one, which is most of you might already know because she's one of the best one, is Sifi the Lost Sprite. She puts increased speed, increased turn meter, and 10% turn meter boost. There's also in the Shadowkin somebody like where is he? I have him on my team. Masamoto, same thing. Increased defense and 15% turn meter boost. There's another one in Demon Spawn. Where is he? Tarshan. Increase defense and 20% turn meter boost. So keep this in mind when you're doing that, and keep in mind that as an example you have HP nukers. There's no way for you to increase your HP or decrease your HP. So sometimes for Ghost second teams, an HP nuker such as Magnar, which we have over here, might actually be the right key for you to build as a nuker in that Ghost second team. Or even somebody like a Deliana. She's not the best, but she's not the worst. She can actually still smack. Yeah, another thing that's, I guess I'm gonna leave this as the last one because it's the key point, that this might not be as easy for most of you depending where the time is, but the best way for you to secure your progress and your advancement in the 3v3 is to be there at 3v3 reset, okay? That usually happens on a Monday. For me, as an example, I'm GMT +3. That one happens at 8 AM, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 AM. That's when you reset. So if I can be there 1 hour before to do some more fights and make sure that I stay in the range over here and stay in the green, that's fine. But for some of you, it might be like 1 AM or 3 AM in the morning, so that might be tricky. But that's gonna be the easiest way for you to secure your progress, because you can be there and you can see like, okay, I'm in the green, I'm fine, I don't need to push more. Or maybe it looks like it's your dodge, you're 1 fight away. That's when you can start pushing doing a few extra fights to make sure you secure your progress. So I said I'm gonna make it a shorter video, but unfortunately it's a little bit longer because it's not as easy. Tag Team Arena is one of those more complex areas of the game, and it's one of those areas that most people hate, but sometimes you want to do it because you want to progress for the sake of getting more gold bars, for the sake of making easy CVC points, and for the sake of advancing your Romanto missions. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you have I hope I gave you some good tips and tricks. Maybe you did not know about the idea of doing it during CVC. That's something that I did on my main account a while back. That's what the missus suggested, OddOneGaming, for most of you that remember. That's the way that I did it on mine, and pushing during CVC made it a lot easier. But yeah, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. If you want to see more, if you want me to make more videos on, I don't know, Tag Team Arena, Classic Arena, if there's anything else you want me to make a video on that you're struggling with when it comes to the arena, just leave it in the comments below. I can make a video about that and share it and try and help as many of you out there as I can, because that's the goal of my videos. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.